This teacher, after being the laughingstock of the world, showed up to school on Monday. Unbelievable. Welcome everyone to Ratioed. My name is Harrison Faulkner. Well, if there was ever a week that exemplified why this show exists, why Ratioed exists, this past week certainly was it. You see, before our Prime Minister was the butt end of the world's jokes for getting caught once again embarrassing us on the world stage, Canada's education system was put on full display for the world to see and for the world to laugh at when a Oakville High School teacher was seen teaching a shop class wearing giant prosthetic breasts. We're going to go into the details of this story, and you'll quickly realize that actually it's way worse than you think it is. That actually this sort of thing is being protected and almost, you could argue, facilitated by Ontario's woke progressive school boards. We'll be getting into all of that on the show. And for the Ratio of the Week award, I think, guys, the winner this week has the biggest ratio we've ever highlighted on the program. I don't think anyone has ever come close to the like to comment margin we're looking at here for the winner of the award. So no need to worry, no need to fret. The award is going to a very deserving winner, as it always does. Drop a like on the video and share it. And the comment question for this episode is this: how will Justin Trudeau embarrass Canada on the world stage next? We've seen the dramatic singing by the piano in London. We've seen the costumes in India. What will we see next? What will Justin Trudeau do to embarrass us next on the world stage? And if you're feeling generous, consider donating to us at donate.tnc.news. The link is in the description of this video. All right, let's get into it. I never had the opportunity to take a shop class when I was in high school, so I'm really no expert on what a shop teacher might look like, but I'm sure many of you in the comments when you were in high school did take a shop class and have had that experience. So you tell me in the comments, when you took a shop class, did your shop teacher look like this? Now, the man you see on your screen right now is Oakville Trafalgar High School teacher Kayla Lemieux. That's the name this man is using as he is transitioning to become a female while teaching a shop class in Oakville. Now, this man, as you can very clearly see, is wearing giant prosthetic breasts while teaching this class. This was the first video of a series of photographs and videos of this teacher teaching this class because the students obviously knew what they were doing. They took photos, videos, and it obviously went viral instantly around the world. This teacher, keep in mind, has to walk through the main doors of the school. You would think probably walk by many students before getting to the school, walk by the principal of this school, get past all the teachers, and then into the classroom before his class starts. At no point did anyone say, hey, maybe we're just going to sub you out and we're going to deal with this situation before this gets out of hand, before we turn our school board into the punchline of the world's jokes. You'd think that might happen, but no, of course not, because this is Canada. This man was able to walk straight through the school, into his classroom, and teach his class. But you can still rectify a mistake once it's been made. You can still make the right move after the mistake. You can recognize you made an error and then quickly solve the problem. This would be an easy slam dunk. For a sane, normal school board, it would be an easy slam dunk. Easy to handle, fired. Nowhere to be seen, never to be seen at an Ontario school again. After all, what you're watching is a man displaying his sexual fantasies in front of students. Public students. A man who earns money as a public school teacher off the public dime. But of course, like they missed the chance the first opportunity, they missed the chance the second opportunity. Kayla Lemieux, this teacher, after being the laughingstock of the world, showed up to school on Monday, and he taught his class on Monday. Unbelievable. At no point the school board decided that they should maybe sub in a real woodworking teacher, a real shop teacher whose giant prosthetic breasts wouldn't be a safety hazard while teaching the class. No, they didn't decide that. In fact, they decided that it would be fine for this teacher to teach the class on Monday, after the weekend. And the school itself has decided to go silent in their communications to very upset parents and very upset citizens, people who want answers. You see, the school board is not prepared to give them any because they're too busy defending this teacher. The Toronto Sun story states, when the story first went viral, it was after students at Oakville Trafalgar High School posted a number of pictures and videos to social media. Margot Shuttleworth, chair of the school board, told the Sun's Joe Warmington that they were standing behind the teacher in the name of protecting gender rights. You see, it's not about protecting students. It's not about creating a safe environment for students to learn. No, it's to protect their gender ideology. It's to protect, quote, gender rights. you can see exactly where Ontario's schools are heading. Now, of course, the Halton District School Board, the school board that oversees Oakville Trafalgar High School, is a real school board. They have a dress code, which they supposedly enforce for students and staff. Funny, however, that at no point has the school board enforced the dress code for this male teacher, Kayla Lemieux. In the dress code for the Halton District School Board, it states very clearly at the bottom here, dress codes must prevent students from wearing clothing that exposes or makes visible genitals or nipples. Now you tell me, guys, in this video here, if you think this teacher, Kayla Lemieux, violates the Halton District School Board dress code. Of course it's ratioed, so we have to show how the rest of the world mocked this country and mocked this situation. This is what Tucker Carlson, the most watched news anchor in the United States, had to say about this situation.
There's no question about it. This is the guy in the van trying to give your sixth grader candy. This is the flasher in the park. This guy is a pervert. He should not be within 500 yards of children, period. He's a threat to children. Now, there have always been threats to children. In every society, there are people like this. And every society deals with them swiftly and very harshly, but no longer in the West. Now, people like this are not punished. They are celebrated and then protected. Trafalgar High School, which is public, it's funded by Canadian taxpayers, is vigorously defending his behavior and threatening anyone who notices. So is the Halton District School Board, which oversees the school. They just sent us the statement, and we're quoting. The school board recognizes the rights of the parents, staff, students, guardians, community members to equitable treatment without discrimination based upon gender identity and gender expression. Gender identity and gender expression are protected grounds under the Ontario Human Rights Code. Oh, the Human Rights Code. Really? Where are the rights of the kids? There are none.
Matt Walsh of the Daily Wire and of the documentary What is a Woman also, of course, had to get in on the action.
Now, when you hear that it's said that the fake breasts he's wearing are oversized, I think then if we put it that way, we are engaging in severe understatement. He is, in fact, wearing prosthetic breasts the size of like hot air balloons. His inner woman is apparently 9 feet tall and weighs 800 pounds by the looks of it. In fact, his inner woman seems to be literally bursting out of his stomach, like that scene from Alien. Now, and we can make jokes about this because it's totally absurd, but actually it's not very funny. The kids in his class are not, as you heard from one of the kids, they're not comfortable, and how could they be? They're the victims of sexual harassment here. And they're not going to be getting any help from the school. As Redux reports in a follow-up, quote, the Ontario High School at the center of a controversy for having a male teacher a male teaching young students while donning a large prosthetic bust, has issued a full defense of the teacher in newly leaked emails sent to parents.
Now, when this story broke, of course, I think every single person in the United States knew what was coming next. Alex Stein, the U.S. comedian who's made a career out of mocking school board meetings and council meetings, made his inaugural strike on Canada when he joined in to have his say on the Halton District School Board Council meeting. Take a look at what he had to say.
Hey guys, I just want to say, one of my students made fun of one of my coworkers because she decided to wear prosthetic breasts and go into school. And I just want to talk about the bigotry and the racism that people are facing, especially these young kids. We have a whole culture of transphobia. Now, we have the idea that, people are more accepting of the gender reassignment surgery or hormone replacement therapy, but that's not the case. So my colleague, when she came in to class, people were calling her big boobs, gazungas, and all these perverted words, but they were saying it in a way that was very derogatory and almost non-sexual, meaning that it was still safe for school. And as an administrator, as a faculty member, I cannot stand here and let transphobia be infected into our youth. Because listen, if somebody were to walk in to our school and they want to have big, fake prosthetic breasts, we need to encourage that. We need more people wearing prosthetic breasts. I mean, if you look at guys like Jeffrey Epstein, he was a bad guy. Now, he was a child predator, and I know he flew with, Bill Clinton 26 times on the Lolita Express, but they had a good point. Jeffrey Epstein had a good point, is that everybody likes breath. And I think the teacher is trying to talk about breath. Yes?
Excuse me, sir.
Here's Canada's Prime Minister representing Canada on the world stage, attending the funeral for Canada's late head of state. Honestly, is there anything worse than hearing Justin Trudeau sing that part of Bohemian Rhapsody? Like, I imagine the person filming this, whoever got this clip, by the way, thank you for your service to this country. So in a very flamboyant and in a very dramatic way, our Prime Minister, who's, again, a totally serious person, was seen there singing Bohemian Rhapsody while attending the funeral for Queen Elizabeth II. And it's a good thing that our Prime Minister hasn't lost touch with his dramatic roots, with his former occupation as a drama teacher at a high school. He really goes full Freddie Mercury there, doesn't he? He really dips down low to hit those notes and really embraces singing as if no one in the room is watching. Unfortunately for Justin Trudeau and for all of Canada, that clip surfaced the day of Queen Elizabeth II's funeral. He just knows exactly when to embarrass us, and he has a special skill at picking the perfect time. This is how the legacy media, conveniently the legacy media that Trudeau bought off to run cover for him when he makes errors on the world stage. This is how the legacy media tried to defend dear leader Justin. They first started off by saying that the video itself was fake. The video was from months ago at the Jubilee. You see, look at the length of his hair, look at the cars in the background. It's clearly from months ago. Then when that turned out to be fake, and the PMO confirmed that it was a true video, the next line of attack was actually, you see, it's not that bad because Justin Trudeau was doing this on Saturday night, not Sunday night. It wasn't the eve of Queen Elizabeth II's funeral, it was the day before that, so it makes it all the better. Justin Trudeau was doing this on a Saturday, not a Sunday. Then, when that turned out to be false, too, the line became, actually, Justin Trudeau is doing this in tribute to Queen Elizabeth II. His drunken singing of Bohemian Rhapsody in the most flamboyant and dramatic way possible was actually to tribute Canada's late head of state, Queen Elizabeth. It was actually to memorialize the great Queen Elizabeth. Then, of course, when that also failed, the final line of attack was, why are we talking about this anyway? It's a non-story. Why is our Prime Minister being mocked for this? CBC's Aaron Weary wrote on Twitter, I refuse to believe that anyone truly and genuinely cares about the Prime Minister singing in a hotel lobby on Saturday night. So that's the last measure, the last line of defense is to just say, this is a non-story, we shouldn't be talking about it. TikTok girl rushed in to try and say that the video itself needed to be fact-checked. It wasn't actually real, it was on the Saturday night, it wasn't at the Savoy Hotel, it was at another very expensive hotel. Toronto Star's Althea Raj saying, I feel very privileged to live in a country where the most controversial thing to have happened today is footage of the Prime Minister singing on Saturday night with a Quebec icon in the lobby of a hotel while in London for the Queen's funeral. Hashtag perspective. The best part to me, though, was all the legacy media outlets saying that his flamboyant singing of Bohemian Rhapsody was in tribute to Queen Elizabeth II. Like, we're that stupid. Like, they really think we're that stupid that we actually think Justin Trudeau was toasting the Queen with his horrible singing. They're that in the tank for Trudeau. They're that useless at holding power to account. Now, of course, our good friends in the United States made an absolute meal of Justin Trudeau's singing, and this is what Greg Gutfeld on Fox News had to say. Greg Gutfeld said he'd rather take Hunter Biden as president than have Justin Trudeau as his president. That's a pretty low blow. Check this out.
What was he thinking, huh? Chances are he probably wasn't. Just be grateful he was singing Bohemian Rhapsody and not Another One Bites the Dust.
Oh, gonna have to change my answer.
And be thankful he didn't do anything from Aladdin. Oh. All right, Kat. You know what bothers me about him? Everything. But also, doesn't he seem like you know this type of person?
Totally.
You know this person.
Yeah, he was there for the funeral. He was getting jealous that the Queen was getting all this attention for being dead.
Check out what Jesse Waters had to say as well on this.
One particular leader, our neighbor, in fact, to the north, Canada, for those of you who weren't paying attention to that quiz, showed their respects in a different way. Justin Trudeau decided the best way to honor the Queen's legacy would be to fly to London, wear a T-shirt, get drunk at a British pub, and do karaoke. Watch this. Simon Cowell called, and I can't even say what he said.
But I think the best takedown of Justin Trudeau, on video at least, came from British Talk TV host Laura Dodsworth. Check out what she has to say about our Prime Minister.
Since then, I've realised he's an arch-narcissist, controlling, fascist sociopath. There's enough reasons there.
Just as well he became a politician then, because that's
so
exactly the qualifications that you need.
Absolutely. The specific reason I'm making him my plank is actually I am doing this on behalf of Canada. There have been 500,000 tweets in the last couple of days all saying Trudeau must go. Now this has gone viral. It's a great Twitter trend. And what people are doing is saying who they are, what they do, and saying that their views are too extreme for Trudeau and Trudeau must go. They're mainly objecting to the vaccine mandates. You know, Canada's still living in this kind of viral Handmaid's Tale world where you can't go anywhere unless you're well, they've got all of them, and they're all still completely strict. And so the thing is that he kind of projects this image of being really reasonable and he's popular, but Twitter trends don't tell a lie, and he's got 500,000 tweets from his home country saying he must go.
All right, guys, ratio of the week time. The winner this week is Peter Boghossian. I think I've got that name right. And we have a couple firsts. The first being that he's an American. So he's the first American winner of the Ratio of the Week award. Congratulations for that great honor, Pete. The second, of course, being the size of the ratio. I don't think we've ever seen something quite so substantial. The margin of victory for Peter Boghossian compared to everyone else who's in the running for the award, it's beyond measure. This guy got so brutally ratioed, it was a non-competition. So for this tweet, Peter Boghossian was given 11.7 thousand comments to 2,991 likes. By the time you see this, it might have passed the 3,000 mark, but really with 11,000 comments, it's a non-competition. It's not even close. Peter Boghossian, for some bizarre reason, tried to put forward some sort of defense of the Oakville teacher. He writes, most people have strong moral impulses about whether this individual should be allowed to teach their children in a public school, but very few can construct a good argument why or why not. Very few can construct a good argument why or why not this person should not teach your children? It's more difficult than you think. Try it. Well, I think some people took Peter Boghossian up on his challenge and tried it for themselves. It turns out actually 11.7 thousand people took up Peter Boghossian's challenge and tried it. And here's what some of them had to say. The great Calvin Robinson and GB News commentator out in the UK wrote a perfect response to Peter Boghossian. He wrote this, because he's clearly a pervert, demonstrating narcissistic tendencies, forcing children to partake in his sexual fetish. It used to be okay to say we don't want sexual deviants teaching children. Why is that no longer enough of an argument? Keep kinks out of the classroom. Megyn Kelly responded, no mentally well woman puts breasts of this size with her nipples popping out on display for kids trying to learn. The fact that it's a trans person enamored with a new sex toy who wants to do a show and tell with minors makes it even worse and arguably misogynistic. See, not hard at all. Stephen Fry responded simply with the dress code policy that we touched on earlier. He wrote, not difficult at all, Peter. It violates the school's own dress code policy. And then this person writes, in my day, we had a dress code. No spaghetti strap tank tops. The nipples are definitely a violation of dress code. Are we really pretending this is okay? Besides, as stated by others, it's definitely a sexual kink dressed up as a trans to abuse the LGBT tolerance. Well, that's going to do it for us this week on the show. What a wild episode and what an embarrassing week for Canada. Hopefully next week we can show the rest of the world the true side of Canada, and we'll do that next week. I'll catch you tomorrow on Fake News Friday. My name is Harrison Faulkner, and this is Ratio.